tofu is originally coming from China. Basically that they put soy milk and they put the coagulant to make the tofu. This nigari is the most popular coagulant in Japan. This is the magnesium chloride. This is like kind of coarse salt and it's quite bitter. This is actually quite expensive, so lots of Japanese tofu factories stop using it because of the cost. So we start to use calcium as well. And also that Korean tend to use nigari as well. So if I want to have a nigari tofu, I definitely choose a Korean one because unfortunately in Australia, in Sydney, Japanese are not making the tofu in Sydney. And also this, most of the Chinese style tofu is using the calcium as a coagulant. So today I have a few types of tofu here. The firm tofu. This is the silken tofu, which is the softest one. In between firm and silken, we have silken pressed or original tofu or classic tofu. Oh, that's the kind of in between. So silken tofu is the smoothest one. I quite like it because you can blend and mix make a beautiful cream and beautiful texture. I like this between firm and silken because it's not too fragile, so you can actually easily to deep fry or stir fry and you still have a beautiful texture in it. And this is the firm tofu. It's still a little bit soft and it's kind of bouncy. And this is the hardest tofu ever. This is a vacuum packed. It's really firm. And this type of tofu is not so popular in Japan, but it's quite popular in China. Silken tofu and hard tofu is a totally different texture. So that's why it's really important to choose the right tofu for the right recipe. I will definitely go through this one later. These are the different 3 types of tofu. This is the basic one. So soft, medium, hard. For the silken tofu, firm tofu, hard tofu. As you can see that the surface of the tofu, this is nice and smooth and kind of a little bit rough. It's really rough. Obviously, this one is the softest and the water content is the highest. And this is the water content, the medium amount, and this contains least water. So basically this is very fragile. So we call the kinugoshi tofu. Kinugoshi literally means silk. That's why we call it silken tofu in English. So it's quite creamy, a beautiful texture. So I use this one for the dessert and make a beautiful puree because it's a cream to be kind of runny, it's okay. In Japan, we eat as it is quite often with ginger, shallot, and some soy sauce, and also salad. And also we tend to put in a soup as well. And to cut this silken tofu, we actually don't cut on the chopping board. We actually have to cut on our palm. Because what happens is that if you cut it in here to make a cube and move to somewhere, by the time you move to the pot or the plate, it's already crushed. It's quite fragile. So what we do here is we just lift in here and cut. The medium tofu, you can actually still you can eat as it is. You can grill it and it's perfect for the stir fry and deep fry, and you can actually blend and make a puree as well. I actually use this one for the kind of mayonnaise. You want to have a good consistency, you can use it. And this lastly, this is a hard tofu. This is really hard. You can actually drop it and it's not going to break it as well. So if I drop here, it's not going to break, but I won't do that. So this is the hardest, and this is definitely not good for the puree, because when you try to puree, it's just become a crumble. So when you put these two in a food processor, it's become a puree, but when you put this one in a food processor, it's just become a crumble. But that crumble is best for the substitutes for the minced meat. So I make the bolognese and you know, make a kind of you know, whatever the nugget or something that you use the minced meat, I quite often put it in a blender and mix with something else. So what I can do here, because it's quite hard, you can actually grate like this, and you can put in a salad or you can put in a soup, because if you cut big chunk for this hard tofu, it's not so fabulous. So you want to cut in small pieces like this and put in a soup, kind of stew long time, or you can fry it and you can actually marinate it with all the vinegar or dressing or something. So it's a wonderful way to do, and you can make a mincemeat. You know, I must say that the silken tofu is kind of, you know, worldwide, the kind of same consistency, but firm tofu can be really firm or a little bit firm, and the hard tofu can be quite, it's not that hard or hard rock hard. So those, you know, texture actually vary brand to brand or country to country. So I guess that you just need to find your favorite product to kind of adjust. This is the softest tofu ever, and you can actually find it in a tube format and also in a packet. The Tetra Pak, it's in a kind of a vacuum pack, and you can find it in a dry area, but this one is always in a fridge. I just want to show you that how to cut this silken tofu. That is always in a line, cut open. So, you know, people tend to cut from here and they make a kind of squeeze and they make an ugly thing. No, you want to keep the beautiful round shape. So let's see, we can cut from here. So you have to be really, really careful, because it's quite gentle, because this is the very softest tofu ever, and you can take out. So like this, and I will talk about how to get rid of the water later. So if you want to get rid of the water and you know, straight away, you can do that, or you can just leave naturally and slice. You can just slice like this. It's beautiful round shape. So you want to cut very carefully to keep the beautiful round shape.